It's a pleasure. Welcome.
So let's start with the wearables industry in general, and what are the key trends that you're seeing taking place today?
I mean, the wearable phenomenon is becoming really a big wave at the moment, and we have to think about where we would use in the future, or where we would wear in the future all our electronic pieces. And we have a limited real estate on the body. We have only two arms, two legs, and one head, and so we have to think about: will it be just one piece on my wrist, or will it be perhaps a hearable? So I mentioned already now two important words for us. Two important areas are the wristables and at least the hearables. We believe a lot of information will be covered close to your ear in the future, and on the other side, the information will be displayed perhaps and also covered on your wrist.
So since you mentioned wristables, let's talk about watches. So what do you think we'll see with the future of, say, the traditional Swiss watch versus the phenomenon of the upcoming Apple Watch?
I mean, this is a very interesting and a bit risky question, because we are talking about a huge industry, Swiss-based watch industry today. But I think we have to make a deep dive into the crystal ball and to see what will be really coming up. We will have a disruptive market situation the next 2 months with the start of the Apple Watch for sure. But if we are looking deeply into the technology capabilities of the Swiss industry, of the Swiss watch industry, I have to say, honestly, they were the first who invented at least a smartwatch already many years ago with their skiing smartwatch, where you were able to pay at least in a skiing lift. I think this watch is already 20 or 25 years old. So and especially if we are talking about this watch group itself, and Mr. Hayek announced just recently one week ago that they will also compete in the smartwatch industry now. They want to have a piece of the cake of this upcoming trend. I have to say, they have a lot of technologies and they have a lot of knowledge in that field. And I believe we have to stay tuned how they will compete now against a big player like Apple. In my opinion, they will still get a big piece of that cake based on their knowledge how to build a nice timepiece on your wrist. They know this market very well, and what they have is also they have huge distribution channels already in place. And I believe also all these jewelry retail shops worldwide, they will play a major game. They will compete at least with the consumer electronics stores, which will sell the Apple Watch. But we will see how this disruption goes on. In our opinion, don't forget the Swiss totally. They will really take a stake in that game, and we have to see how Apple can compete against this consisting or existing old fashion and jewelry business based in the Swiss.
Okay, great. So I've heard you talk about things related to invisible and ubiquitous technologies. Maybe you want to take us through your thought there and where you see it going in the future.
I mean, I think we all saw that people were named glass halls in the US wearing a Google Glass entering a restaurant. I think it's very important, if we want to be successful with the wearable technologies market, we have to talk about invisible wearables at least. Perhaps it's the end of the wearables because we can't see them anymore. But then we will have really a huge market, and we will have a mass market behind. We have to think about how to integrate wearables in a way that they are not visible, that the people don't know that I'm wearing at the moment a heart rate monitoring thing, or I don't wear at the moment something which could cover my behavior. There are already out some intelligent blasters I can wear under my shirt. There are intelligent shirts out there. There are intelligent soles out there which I could integrate into my shoes. I believe this is a big trend which is coming up, and at least also coming back to jewelry or watches. Jewelries are a perfect place to integrate electronic informations or electronic sensors which could cover something. So we believe also the jewelry business, and for sure the smartwatch business, will be enablers of that invisible wearables because you can't see directly that this is now a smartwatch. If we are talking especially about these hybrid analog smartwatches, which are normal watches with some sensor integrations, you have a piece of a watch or a piece of a bracelet or a piece of a jewelry on your wrist or on your neck. And this is invisible, at least. So this is a big trend, and I believe we will see a lot of applications and products out there in the next upcoming 12 months.
Okay. And another trend is touch over the internet. Do you want to talk about what you're envisioning there?
I mean, this is a bit the point coming from toys, coming from perhaps even sex toys to the industry 4.0. Yeah, perhaps you know already this nice project done by a company, Wearable Experience from Sydney. They invented that bra which could talk to a trouser as a Durex Thunderwear project. It was presented at our WT conference in San Francisco 2 years ago, and it's an amazing project which shows what capabilities we have if we are using the Internet of Things in a nice purpose, and if we could really work with sensors and adaptive materials or vibrating materials to realize touch solutions over the internet. I mean, in the sexual experience, it's clear, but also in the industry 4.0 experience or in medical experiences, it could be a very, very nice application. And we see there are a lot of opportunities.
Now, what about the Internet of Things? Today, when you look at a lot of wearables, they stand alone with information that you get about yourself and interpret by yourself. So how do you or don't you see wearables being part of the whole Internet of Things conversation going forward?
So we don't see, by the way, any wearable in the future which is not connected to the IoT infrastructure or to the cloud, at least. I mean, this is very important, and I'm always telling the audience, please be aware of a wearable device will always have only a real impact for the consumer if it's connected in an intelligent environment, or if it's used in an intelligent environment, meaning you are sending your personal data real time to the cloud, store it there, safe as it is possible to store it there, safe. And on the other side, the intelligent environment is also sending the data real time to the cloud, meaning you are a guy who have asthmatic problems while you are running in a city, you got directly the information from the city environment, at least in the cloud, that at that point where you are at the moment, the CO2 pollution is too high in the air, please calm down, run only with 90 beats per minute. I mean, this is a very, very helpful information. And if these informations are coming, then users also willing to wear a device longer than 3 months. At the moment, we have this average time of usage of a wearable device of 3 to 4 months. I mean, we have to overcome that the people are willing to wear the product longer. And this is only possible if we combine the product with intelligent information from the cloud. And this is also the point. The product itself will, if we look at the whole business case, 80% of the business case will be data, will be collaborative information combined with your personal data. And just 20% of that whole business case of a wearable system, of a wearable product, will be the hardware itself. So the environment is very important. The intelligent environment is very important. And that's the reason also why we see what is at the moment the most interesting intelligent environment we have. So smart home is not smart today, and also perhaps in 2 years not really smart. But the car is the most obvious smart environment we have. And that's the reason why at the moment all big industry players in the automotive industry are looking into the wearable ecosystem and trying to find the right partners to team up to connect their rolling intelligent environment with wearables from the driver.
Okay, great. So Wearable Technologies has events in different geographies. So I was wondering if there are different trends that you're seeing, say, in the Americas versus Europe versus Asia when you look at this market?
I mean, the first adaptation was really the US. Now Europe is starting, but I have the feeling at the moment from the request we got that Asia is coming and will be the most adaptive market today. or in the future. If you saw the volumes which are shipped by the Xiaomi band, for example, a fitness band which is sold for around about $10 in China, these are volumes which are coming up. They are so huge, and so we will see a big trend in China. The people are more willing to adapt these wearables. We have also learned a lot that Korea is teaming up with wearables much. So we see there's a big trend coming up in the Asian market. At the moment, still the US is leading, but we will see what Asia is doing in the next 12 months.
Okay, great. And you mentioned the connected car, and there's been a lot of talk in the industry about the connected car as one of the things in the Internet of Things. But I'd love to get your thoughts on how wearables might integrate or interact with the connected car in the future.
I mean, just to showcase what pressure my tires have on the wrist, that makes not directly many sense. But we believe to combine physical informations from the driver to the car, that makes sense, and perhaps also vice versa, some notification informations directly on the wrist to make the daily experience in your car more safer and more human-oriented, I would say. Yeah, it could start with identification that ends at least with directly integration of your personal behavior in the driving experience in your car. There are a lot of things going on. I can't tell you anything about everything about it, but they are working in many fields at the moment, and for sure we have always to cover or to see what's additional possible. I can wear it directly on my wrist, but it could be also integrated in the wheel of the car, or it could be integrated in the seat of the car. So there are some interesting mixtures going up between the environment in the car and the human body, and some additional devices you have close to your body or on your body. And I believe in the next 12 months we will also see there a lot of new applications.
Okay. And do you think there are things that need to change in the way that tech companies are currently approaching this market to be able to really realize this vision of an integrated society?
Good question. I think we have to, less is more. I would say this is the main answer on that. At the moment, we are able to integrate everything in a product. We can miniaturize it. We can put nearly every kind of sensor and electronic connectivity solution into a product, in a wristband or in a bracelet or whatever. The problem is, if we put everything in, it will run just for 1 day or 1 hour at least. We have to find the right mixture between what is possible today from an electronic point of view, from an engineering point of view, and what is needed in the market from a human being. And I believe sometimes less is more. Let's see what the people are coming up with. Ideas perhaps of energy harvesting, of using perhaps just some sensors that but these sensors are running then much longer than today. You don't have to charge them. You are charging the things just on the daily basis via your laptop, where close to wherever, on the move at least. Then we are coming into adaptation rates which are really high, and the people are then again willing to wear the devices longer than 3 months. And this is the most important thing. The engineers and the electronic companies have to take care of that the user wants to have wearables, for sure. All the market research tells us that wearables are really a big trend for the user, for the customers out there. But they also want to have a device which is running longer than just 1 day.
So Christian, you've been working in this space for over 10 years now. So what has been most surprising to you that you've seen over the past 10 years in the evolution of the wearables topic?
So I can't tell you just one surprise I had. I had many surprises over the last 10 years. So first one was at least this company all of us are aware of in the sports business, the GoPro guys, where I never thought that the product, which is not looking very design-oriented, has such a big impact in the sports industry. Yeah, that was one of the first things. First surprise, let's say. Yeah. Second surprise, I met the Rican guys with the Rican goggles, also from the sports business, by the way, some years ago, where they presented me the first prototype, and I told them, it can't be that you integrated all these things into a goggle. And they said, yeah, we did it because we want to have, while we are skiing or snowboarding, these informations in our goggles. I mean, that was really also a big surprise for me, that just sophisticated guys, engineers, who love their sport and want to do something while they are sporting and want to have the information while they are sporting, that they are then able to do something which even military institutes were not able to do. So that was the second surprise. The third surprise I mentioned already. I mean, I was till that time not aware that the sex toy industry is such a big player in the wearables field. I learned that over the Durex project we had with us 2 years ago. Please take a look at it. It's really a crazy, nice idea touch over the internet. That was a third surprise. Yeah, and at least the last thing is for me that we really don't know what the user is doing today with the smartwatches, what will be the killer app in that field. We still believe that we are in a very early stage. Everyone is talking about wearables, but we will see in 2 years what is really the killer application in that field. We are still very sophisticated about that market, but if I compare it to the internet market, where I was also very early in the game in '95 already, I would say we are today in the age of 96 roundabout. So we have for sure 4 to 5 years to go with a sophisticated growth rate and sophisticated new products and solutions. And let's see what's happening in the next months, years.
Okay, great. So last question, when you look around the industry, what are the products that you're most excited about today? I mean, what are the things you want to run out and buy?
You can't buy these products at the moment, but I like all these organic electronic pieces which you can stick on your skin and use for monitoring purposes. So plasters which are just running over all organic electronic solutions. For example, what we saw with MC10 some years ago already, and which is now more industrialized already. This is totally sophisticated, yeah, I'm looking forward to use these sophisticated solutions, these plasters, which are just monitoring physical data without any other solution. And the other thing is more the jewelry business. I also like watches which are just watches, but which have some smartness integrated, so that if the battery is empty and if I forgot to charge the watch, that is still a watch and not a piece of plastic on my wrist.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us here at Wearables.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome.